I'd like to begin my talk today with a story. And as all good stories begin, once upon a time, there was a little girl named Patricia. Patricia was very independent and self-aware. She loved reading, writing, and learning in general, especially if it involved bugs and snakes. Now, Patricia did not like public speaking. In fact, the very idea made her stomach hurt and even get stress hives. She avoided the whole idea unless it was required for a grade. For example, in 5th grade, one of her teachers informed her that she scored high enough on a geography test to be in the Geography Bee. The Geography Bee would be held in front of the whole 5th grade. This is the conversation that followed. Do I have to? No, I guess not. Then I don't want to. It's an exciting opportunity. No, thank you. Did I mention that Patricia was a titch stubborn as well? Now, Patricia's disinterest in public speaking did not prevent her from performing in front of an audience. Patricia loved to dance, tap dancing in particular. Her feet were her voice, and that was enough. Fast forward to 8th grade, middle school. Patricia's speech and communications teacher really felt that she had a lot of insights that she could contribute to the class. He encouraged her to speak up more. Patricia preferred to go to class, take notes, complete her homework assignments, and observe. So when the new quarter began, Patricia's teacher had an idea. If I put Patricia next to the loudest student in class, certainly that will encourage her to speak up more. Now, this also happens to be the teacher that at one point throughout the year commented, "Who you are today won't change, not when you go to high school or beyond." Now, to provide some context, he was frustrated after a long day of trying to convince rowdy 8th graders to buckle down and behave. But nonetheless, his comment struck Patricia. In fact, it was one of the few times that she really didn't agree with what her teacher had said. She thought to herself, I could change something about myself if I wanted to. Patricia continued her passion for dance as she entered high school. She choreographed tap pieces as a freshman, joined the Modern Dance Company, and participated in the variety show called On Stage. Patricia had also started attending the fall and spring plays. There was no dancing in these productions, but she really liked the director, Mr. Hoffman. She had seen some of his rehearsals in between her dance practices and noticed that he had the ability to push his students outside their comfort zones, to take some risks, and he would be there to coach and guide along the way. He believed in students who didn't always believe in themselves. Her junior year, Patricia mustered up the courage to audition for the fall play. She wanted to grow and stretch herself beyond dancing. She was ready to try something new. Her mom helped her find a piece to audition for, an excerpt from Why I Live at the P.O. by Eudora Welty. Look it up if you need a good laugh. Patricia practiced and practiced and practiced. And when it came time for the audition, there was the stomach ache, there were the stress hives, but she stood on the stage and recited her piece. And you know what? Mr. Hoffman laughed, more than once. Patricia left the audition not knowing if she would be cast in the play, but she did leave with a sense of relief and accomplishment. She had stepped outside her comfort zone and tried something new. And after a stressful week or so of waiting, the cast list was up. Patricia was cast as Giacinta, one of the leading roles in Scapino. Patricia had a fabulous time with her role, and with the brightness of the theater lights, you could barely even see the audience. The following year, Patricia participated in another play, A Company of Wayward Saints. She had discovered a voice outside of her tap dancing feet. For college, Patricia attended St. Catherine University, and a required freshman course is called The Reflective Woman. Note the underlined piece in the description, a discussion-based course. Patricia was still a little nervous about speaking up in class. There were no theater lights there, but she was again determined to stretch and grow. Now, you may have gathered that this story is in fact about me, and it turns out there is some research pertaining to what I was feeling. It involves a growth versus fixed mindset, and psychologist Carol Dweck wrote a book about this topic. Dweck defines the growth mindset as the belief that your basic qualities are things you can cultivate through your efforts. Furthermore, a person's true potential is unknown and unknowable. It's impossible to foresee what can be accomplished with years of passion, toil, and training. In other words, a person with a fixed mindset would feel that you are a certain kind of person, and there's really not much that can be done to change that. Conversely, a person with a growth mindset would feel that no matter what kind of person you are, you can always change substantially. One of my favorite quotes from Dweck's book states, "You have a choice. Mindsets are just beliefs. They're powerful beliefs, but they're just something in your mind, and you can change your mind." I felt this way in my 8th grade communications class when my teacher said we couldn't change who we were, but I wasn't ready to act on the feeling right away. I needed more time, because until my junior year of high school, my mindset was still pretty fixed about my public speaking abilities. I identified as quiet and shy. I did not want to be that loud student in class. I did what I needed to do to earn good grades, but I didn't push myself beyond that. I wasn't in every play I auditioned for my junior and senior year, but I still learned from every audition. When I wasn't cast, my response wasn't, "I will never audition again." I instead had the opportunity to pause and reflect. I learned how to better control my nerves and how to project confidence. And to this day, The Reflective Woman has been one of my favorite courses. It took a lot of effort and preparation for me to feel comfortable sharing my thoughts during class. But what was great about this course is the professor created a safe, respectful environment in which all of us students became comfortable sharing our thoughts about some pretty heavy topics. And although I have grown a lot since my elementary years, having a growth mindset isn't always easy for me. Here are examples of several fixed mindset thoughts I've had in recent years. But you can see how those thoughts have changed with my time here at MHS. I am privileged to work in an environment that embraces and sometimes demands a growth mindset. Many of the experiences I've previously feared have changed my life, but I've been able to push myself professionally in ways that my 5th grade self couldn't have imagined. And I am proud of the person I have and continue to become. It's very easy to put ourselves into a box. We want to feel safe. We want to feel successful. But what I have learned through experience is that there are so many opportunities outside of that box. And this idea has been reaffirmed for me, as I am now lucky enough to witness the growth mindset every day with my 9-month-old son. He does not worry about making mistakes. He is a little sponge that is learning and gaining knowledge from every failure without fear. I'd like to conclude my talk today with a request. My request is not that you leave the room and overcome every fixed mindset thought you've ever had. But what I do ask is that when you find yourself saying, "I could never be in theater," "I could never travel internationally," or "I could never pursue a career in STEM," simply pause for a second and give yourself some time to think. Consider instead, "I haven't been in theater yet. I haven't traveled internationally yet. I haven't pursued STEM yet." Many of the experiences I've previously feared have shaped my life. And I didn't have to do it alone. I've been able to capitalize on growth mindset opportunities with help from my parents, professors, and administrators. And my hope is that as I continue my career as a teacher, my students know that I will always believe in them, even if they don't yet believe in themselves.